Hi everyone, welcome back to Lifting the Lamp. I'm Frater Eleftheria, and tonight's video is very special. It's a video I'm very excited to make. That's because I have recently surpassed 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So this is a video to thank all of you and talk about what's coming with the future of this channel and look back on how things have been going so far. So first and foremost, thank you everyone who has been on this journey with me so far. It's hard to believe that this channel has reached 10,000. Thank you to every single person who's subscribed, but in particular, those who have become members and those who have given me super thanks. It's all contributed and made the channel the success that it is today. I was looking back at a previous video, which was the video that I made when I hit 1,000 subscribers. And in that video, I talk about how one day I may reach 10,000 and then 100,000. And well, I've reached the 10,000 mark now. It's only been about a year and a half since I hit 1,000. So I'm very excited at how quickly this channel is growing. And I hope that in another year and a half, it'll be at 100,000. And I have reason to believe that it will. So fingers crossed on that. And once I reach the 100,000 mark, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe some number of subscribers between 100,000 and 200,000, at that point, I will be ready to start phase 2 of this project that I have begun by beginning this spiritual channel. And I will have enough of a target audience, finally, to begin the next phase. So all the kind of video topics that I have flagged in the past as things that I would like to cover, I've largely covered now, although there's still some videos in those kind of areas that I need to make. But there's also still some introductory type videos that I haven't made yet. Some kind of basic videos on the Kabbalah and tarot, and maybe another video on yoga, maybe a couple on meditation. It's still covering off some of the basics. I still need to do that. And so I'll do that over the next 18 months. There's one area of videos where I haven't really done much, but I said that I would, and that is videos to do with the work on oneself. They don't tend to be that popular, but it's kind of dawned on me, perhaps I need to reframe the issue of the work on oneself, because it can sound like something really tedious. It can sound like something that you just do out of a sense of obligation without wanting to do it. And a lot of the time, talking about some of these issues can come across as like giving people a moral lecture. And, if it becomes too personal, it can be a bit like that. But there are, certain elements of our psychology that we must face and we must kind of overcome. And it can be difficult talking about that if it's framed the wrong way. And, truth be told, we all already have enough people in our lives that are preaching at us and telling us how to live our lives and what sort of behavior is immoral and what sort of behavior is problematic. And none of that contributes anything to people's personal development. It just makes them feel really bad about themselves. And that's not something that I want to contribute to. So I want to sort of approach things a bit differently and start making videos perhaps about the inner work and the inner journey through different symbols and different kind of archetypes in our psychology, how we can transform those and liberate the divine within them, rather than something that's broken about ourselves that we need to fix. And it's really about the inward journey, the inward hero's journey and the path of self-realization. And, it can be difficult, and there can be a lot of tests and trials and things that we face in ourselves that can be difficult to face, but the rewards are immense. When I first started out on the spiritual path, I didn't really take working on myself very seriously. I just wanted to do the really cool stuff like learn to read tarot and learn how to use magic and all that sort of thing. And didn't pay much attention to self-development, the work on oneself. And, you know, when I did start doing that around, well, I was supposed to have started doing it around 2017. Truth be told, it was probably a bit, a bit after that that I really sincerely started. But since that time, I've noticed a difference in my character, in the way that I go through life and how I feel inside. And, you know, as I was preparing for this video and reminiscing on the past of this channel and some of the other stuff that I've put on other platforms, you know, I went back and I looked at videos of myself and I looked at images of myself, and, you know, I noticed that there was a lot of, you know, a lot more worry and a lot more anger behind my eyes. You know, I was just operating at a different level, and compared to how I looked then, you can see there's a lot more peace in my demeanor, and it reflects my inner state. And you know, I remember those photos of myself and videos of myself that I look back on now and think, oh, you know, what a troubled, angry individual that is. At that time in my life, I looked back at photos and videos of myself from, you know, 3-5 years prior, and I thought the same thing about that person in the past. So, you know, there's a process of renovation of the psyche, and you know, lightening the load, lightening the psychological load that we feel, and you know, finding that peace again, and finding that wholesomeness again, and not being so tortured by all of the, you know, all of the things that we've inherited in our mind, in our unconscious over the years. So that's something that I would like to focus on some more. Maybe I'll make the odd video about that, but I've got a lot of things I could talk about on that, which I think a lot of people would find helpful. And I want to help people find their peace the way that I'm increasingly able to do so. Although I still recognize I have a lot of work to do, particularly when it comes to judgment and things like that. But anyway, one thing that I've noticed reviewing this channel and how it's been going is that my videos on angels and angelic magic seem to be very popular. You know, anything to do with, you know, the Merkaba, anything to do with Enochian magic, Abramelin, the Holy Guardian Angel, all of that stuff gets the most views. And also, it seems, things where I kind of teach people some of the dangers of the darker side of the spiritual domain, which is kind of surprising. Perhaps I should make more videos on that in these times when there are dark forces at work in our world. But one thing I certainly will be doing is more videos on angelic magic, the angelic realm, going deeper into some of the Enochian stuff, deeper into some of the background of, you know, high magic, perhaps even more tutorials or more demonstrations of angelic invocations, and really going deeper into the hidden kind of wisdom tradition of, you know, the monotheistic religions, and how crucial that has been to, you know, culture, particularly in the West, and also has contributed to, you know, the emergence of these angelic forms of magic. All of that is stuff that I'd like to delve a lot deeper into. So I'm sure that you'll all be intrigued by that. You all seem to like videos about my personal journey, me sharing personal stories about my own life, coming to realizations about myself, big milestones in my own spiritual journey, and I can continue making videos like that. There's certainly a few more things I can talk about when it comes to that. But one thing that's interesting with that is that a lot of the more interesting things that have happened in my spiritual personal life that have not yet been revealed are things that have happened quite recently. So there's this interesting time now where, you know, what you know about me and where you're tracking my personal journey on the spiritual path is sort of catching up with real time, and And so as I start to emerge into understanding what it's all about, what I'm really supposed to be doing, as I gather this audience and talk about spirituality, I'll bring you along with me on that journey, and you will come to the same realizations that I myself reach, and you'll be there with me. So that's something that's very exciting. And in the coming weeks, there is at least one big reveal about my personal journey, something else that I've learnt about myself, which is significant to the spiritual path that I'm on. And I will be sharing that with you very soon, once I've sort of come to understand it fully myself. But I'm sure that you will be very interested to hear what I've discovered. And it's yet another thing that I've been led to on the journey. There's all these little things that I've been led to over the course of my life. First I was led to magic, and then from that I was able to connect to the AA. It was something that I was directed to after I'd found the Western esoteric tradition. I was also directed to the Gnostic movement at another time. Finding out that I was meant to be a healer, finding out that I was meant to be a spiritual teacher and was supposed to compile some sort of a book. All of these things, they're all things that I've been led to, and the path of initiation that I would need to walk in order to reach the level where I would be able to properly, fulfill that task and bring what I needed to bring into the world into existence. Those are all things that I've been led to. It's not stuff that I went looking for. And more recently as well, being guided to look into my ancestry has started to bring another piece into it. But I've been guided to all of this, and it's all leading towards something, and it's starting to take shape now. I'm starting to put the pieces together, and you will be with me when I do put them together, and I know exactly what it is I'm meant to be doing, and where this channel, where this teaching people about spirituality is leading ultimately. And one thing that I've noticed as well is there's been little things that have happened in my spiritual life, whether it's something magical that I've done, or whether it's following some other series of synchronicities. But there's just at least a couple of things where something that I've discovered that is part of my personal journey also feeds into a kind of a much bigger global sort of unfolding process that is going on to do with the spiritual evolution of humanity. And so that's been very interesting. Things to do with the end times, that's all been very interesting to see how it's all kind of fitting together. And, I know I can't be the only person who feels a sense of providence and a sense of spiritual calling. There must be a lot of people who feel drawn to find something spiritual again, and to stand for a different way of being in these times. But for my part, I certainly feel it, and I certainly feel that what I'm doing here is part of something much greater, although I don't fully understand it yet. But I'm starting to realize what the big picture is, and as that happens, I will again take you along with me on the journey and reveal that to you as it goes along. But it's all it's all going in the right direction, I feel, and yeah, things are getting more serious on this channel. It's no longer just about creating a repository of spiritual knowledge anymore. It's more and more becoming about bringing something new into the world, a new light that can shine even brighter than what went before. And just generally, that is the direction that the channel is moving in. I'm gonna keep thinking of more ways that I can do that beyond just the weekly videos, although, as I've said before, time constraints are a big issue for me at the moment. But But one thing I have been thinking about is maybe uploading some of the audio of my older videos onto Spotify or some other platform for podcasts as a way of getting more reach. And that might be something that some of you are interested in as well, because, you know, YouTube, you have to keep the video open to watch it. You can't just put your phone in your pocket and have your headphones in while you're on the bus or walking somewhere, for example. But perhaps if I put the audio onto another platform, it can make some of this content more accessible in that way. So these are all the things that have been going through my head, and I'm quite, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm quite optimistic about the future. And now that I've reached 10,000, you know, my first goal was 1,000 subscribers. I've reached that. Then my goal was 10,000 subscribers. I've reached that. And my next goal is going to be 100,000. And once I reach 100,000, things will really start to change. And things will really start to quicken. And it couldn't come at a better time. It couldn't come quick enough, because just look at the state of the world. We need something. And if I can help for my part in bringing that about, then I'm very happy to do so. And if you want to contribute to that, please continue to follow me. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. You can subscribe to me on Odyssey as well. And if you want to give me extra support, please hit join or thanks down below. But thank you again for listening, and I look forward to sharing many more videos with you and building this community together with you. And I'll see you next time.